Let's have a round of applause for Gabe and his wonderful blue hair. Look at this guy. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to follow that. Just kidding. Actually, I'll be the yin to his yang, and I'll show you the things that he's been talking about. So this is actually the third time that I've shown kind of the nuts and bolts of how Cloud IoT Core works. And kind of, this is I/O right now, and I remember a year ago, the Cloud IoT Core team came in front of you all and demonstrated the product for the first time. And when they did it, I have no idea how they were able to get such a robust and beautiful demo at that point in time, because there was a lot of pieces that the experience was a cliff. You know, the first time that I showed this demo that I'm just about to do, it blew up in my face. And that was because that was for a couple of reasons. One of them was we didn't have the Cloud Console features for IoT Core. So there was no visual way of adding devices and creating registries. And there also was no command line utilities for managing IoT Core. And so I had to write a sample that would make API calls with the device ID, the registry ID, the project ID, all of these values that are really easy to fat finger. So when we went to general availability, the Google Cloud SDK, or gcloud, for those who don't know, Google Cloud ships a command line utility that's written in Python, I believe, and it allows you to do all the things that you can do in cloud programmatically from the command line. And it actually works. It works really well from cloud resources. And if you go and do the code lab, I actually have you do a lot of cloud resource management using the gcloud SDK. And so today I'm going to show you how to do the nuts and bolts of Cloud IoT Core just using the Cloud SDK as opposed to using the console or the command line or some API calls that I've hacked together in some sort of sample app. So I'll just unlock my machine, and we'll switch to computer. All right, can everyone see that? Good? Bigger, smaller? Good? OK. OK, awesome. All right, so if you remember, the entry point into Cloud IoT Core is Google Cloud PubSub. And so before we can receive messages and transmit, and before we can transmit messages and then process those messages from PubSub, we have to create a Google Cloud PubSub topic. So I'm going to create a Google Cloud PubSub topic. I'm super nervous, so I type really bad. OK. IO2013 top. OK, so I just typed in gcloud pubsub topics create IO 2018 top for topic. And so now I do gcloud pubsub subscriptions. So the subscriptions will, of course, my sub. And I forget the help. All right. So when you create the subscription, you have to associate that subscription with a topic. And then I have to add create. And if you see me struggling up here and know how to fix what I'm doing, don't hesitate to yell out something. All right. All right, here we go. Dash dash topic. All right, so now I have created a Google Cloud PubSub subscription that is associated with the Google Cloud PubSub topic. So now whenever I publish messages into that topic, then they get queued up in the subscription. And I can pull those messages from the subscription. So now I'm going to create a Google Cloud IoT Core registry. And I'm not the best typer and talker. And so associated with this registry is going to be an event notification configuration. And so what that just means is when messages are sent, telemetry messages, which could be something like sensor data from a device, when those messages come in, then this is the topic where those notifications can go to. And so you can also set this so that you can have event notifications going to other types of things, and we in the future may offer other ways of connecting with cloud. So now I've created a registry, And so the registry will contain devices that represent the identity of your smart devices or IoT internet-connected devices. And so now I'm ready to add a device. And so the device connects using an asynchronous encrypted credential. So you give us your public key, and then you encrypt your data with your private key when you authorize, and you get a JSON web token. And so what this is going to do is invoke a couple of I can never type those OpenSSL commands correctly. So but really what all this is doing is just calling this OpenSSL command, which will generate a public-private key pair with JOT-compatible algorithms. And so now that I have my device keys, I can register a new device. And I'm going to call it E2E because that's the device that I recommend using for the end-to-end example. And if you want to follow on your own through a step-by-step example, you can find this in the documentation at cloud.google.com/IoT. And so when I create this device, I'm going to use the EC key that was created with OpenSSL, and then I give it the ES256 string representing the type because that is just the signing type that's correctly named for JWT. And after this comes back, then we're ready to connect to Google Cloud IoT Core. And so this is going to use, for this example, I'm just going to use the HTTP example, which is the most basic way of connecting to Google Cloud IoT Core. So this is just a Python sample. And so there's the project ID, that's the cloud resource associated with the device registry and the pub subtopic and so forth. And then the registry ID, which is the container for these devices, and the device ID and everything else that you saw me put in the previous message. And now Docker is going to ask me to update. Okay, I'll do that later. Okay, so here's the JOT that is calculated from the device. And because it's a brand new device, you'll see that its configuration is empty. And it's also that's nice. Nice stack trace. But here's the configuration for the device, and you can see that I've published a couple of telemetry messages that are events representing something that this device is transmitting to the cloud. And so now if I use gcloud again, pub sub, and I can do subscriptions poll. All right, I'm going to forget the name again. Subscription is IO2018 sub. And when I do this, I should see the messages, I should see those telemetry messages that were transmitted by the virtual device to the cloud. And this is always the scary part. There it is. So sorry for how this looks kind of funky in here, but you can see you can see attributes, which is like metadata for the device that connected, the time that and anything else that you want to push into your topic inside of this data field. All right, so if you've seen any of the talks before on Cloud IoT Core, you see me do this a lot of different ways. It's kind of boring. But these devices are really, but this is it. You've seen the entire capabilities of the cloud. Once those messages are in PubSub, then you can process those with all the cloud resources that Google provides. And so this could mean processing image data and then returning labels or reacting to some sort of condition inside of that image. Or this could mean warehousing massive fan-in of data and then being able to do analytics in real time with it. And so that's fun. But we're going to do something a little bit different today. And I want to show you this working on hardware. And so I have brought with me an Arduino device. And this has sort of been a 20% project of mine. It's an experimental library. And for those who don't know, Arduino is a physical computing platform that's very popular in education and with makers. And it allows you to do things like blink lights, actuate actuate electronic things, which kind of harks back to what Gabe was speaking about with modern electronics. So modern electronics can easily be controlled and actuated from Arduino devices. And so I'm going to do something. So the virtual devices are really good for things like load testing and estimating and like learning about the product. And then our experimental library with Arduino, which I cannot recommend that you go to production yet. As it says on my GitHub account, look out, it's my code. And it's also Alvaro's. So thank you, Alvaro, for all your contributions. And anyone who's interested in contributing to our Arduino project is welcome to. And so now I'm going to go from that virtual device, which is something that is useful for loading, to a physical, real-world device that we can then use for prototyping and other things to get an idea about like when you have your actual device built on one of the more robust solutions that our partners offer. So in order to work with Arduino, you can just install the library using the library manager, and then after that library is installed, inside of the examples will appear Google Cloud IoT Core Jot, and inside of here, each of these there is a sketch. An Arduino sketch is just a way of specifying a source file, and then it's what is open inside of the IDE. And so inside of this sketch is this header file CIOTC config, and then inside of here are all of your configuration that we just did in the virtual device, except as specified with this physical device. And I'm just going to connect to a Wi-Fi, and it's everything else. And this is the same configuration that I just used from before. Sorry. Oh. This, yes. That, sorry. Oh, the project ID. Oh, yes, yes. So the project ID is, thank you. Thank you, yes. This could have saved you a lot of frustration in a minute. But yeah, so the project ID is the cloud resource that's associated with with all the things that you created atop it. And then then I'm going to do a transform on the private key, which I'm going to use for creating the connection credential. And this is an open SSL command that I can never remember, but maybe yeah, there it is. Okay. So now I've taken that private key and then I've turned it into this string that looks a lot like this string. And then I'm just going to replace this string with that string. And very soon. Now, when I click the run, oh, thank you. We're doing a good job, guys. Okay. And I make sure I have the right board, the right port. Okay. And this is, we recently, I added this support for the Genuino boards. These are kind of like the Arduino style boards. They have a feel to them that's kind of nice. Anyways, so now that I have, now this device has connected. Let's see. Let me look at my logs here. Oh no. Something is wrong. That's 7. Let's see. Oh, the private key is wrong. Oh, did I do the public one? Thank you. You're the best. And this should be EC. Let's try this again. Trace it. Oh, I need to save the sketch. Sorry. We'll try this again. I'm missing, sorry, say that again. Oh yeah, actually this is so Arduino strings do support this. So this is working as expected. Let's see here though. Sometimes the time server doesn't return the right time, and that can get me. Oops. And so if this, there we go. OK, so now it's working. Yeah, so this is an experimental library, everybody. And I'm, yeah, so heed my advice. Yes. Okay. Yes. And that's why you shouldn't use it in production yet. But maybe someday. So now, in this sample, like if the configuration message is set to something other than the value 1, only one light will be on the board. And then if I set the configuration message to 1, so the configuration for this device is set to 1 instead of 0 or hello, then 2 lights on the board should turn on. And let's see. We'll set it to 1. And then everybody watch on that screen. It's the light that comes on is on the left side of the board, I think. And so we just updated the device configuration, and then through my blazing fast internet connection, there it is. Yeah. All right. OK. And so this is nice. Devices are fun. And being able to prototype stuff with Arduino is fantastic, actually, because you're able to do stuff really quickly, and you're able to, in just a short period of time and inexpensively, get to. Sometime after this conference, I'm going to try to open source this software. So if you all want to make your own little internet-connected toys and kind of get an idea for how these kinds of things work, you can check it out. And for now, I'm going to do the thing that everyone wants me to do whenever I show them the robots, and that is make them move as a swarm army. OK. And it's at times like this that I really appreciate how little data the Cloud IoT Core product sips, because I'm totally not using my phone for connecting these devices.
Totally is.
Yeah. All right.
We should have a bunch of them online.
There we go. OK. And it's just about time for them to march. Oops. All right. And we'll go back to. And thank you, Gabe, for wrangling all these robots. All right, let's send some. Uh-oh. Look out. Go, robots, go.
It's the Wi-Fi.
It's probably the Wi-Fi. But, I mean.
They're blinking really pretty, though.
They are blinking really pretty. I feel pretty good about that. There they go. Yeah. So there it is. Thank you.
We have a jumper.
Uh-oh, uh-oh. All right. All right, they've already become sentient. This one's trying to break free. All right. All right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I also wanted to do this just to make Gabe have to dance around on stage. All right. So let's go back to the slides, and we'll just wrap up. Okay. So going back to other approaches to adding smart and intelligent capabilities to your devices. We would be, I want to again say, like there's other ways of doing this than just complete delegation to the cloud. You can use edge border routing to extend the capabilities of nearby devices to other devices. You can use on-device smarts with things like Android things. So that if you have all the capabilities without the cloud, or some capabilities shared with the cloud, Android things is a really great way to do this. And also, we have stack, as Gabe mentioned at the very beginning, we have stack driver logging. And stack driver logging, for some people,